he is a wide receiver and he does need to catch the ball.
Playing devil's advocate, I think they're the worst team in the NFC right now.
I think he's out after this game if it doesn't go to plan.
Probably the top 3 wide receiver. He just doesn't get the chance.
You're trying to shill him onto me for Justin Jefferson. You can get lost. Welcome back to the Early Hours podcast, where the Week 2 sniper has been in full effect this week, this time with a taste for quarterbacks. It's not looking good if you're starting any of these guys. Getting straight into the injury report here, Joe Burrow, the biggest story. Originally a case of turf toe, it looks like it's developed. They were saying 3 months, it could be now, guys. The rest of the season, it's not looking good if you're a Bengals fan, and it's not looking good for my fantasy.
It's definitely not. It's an absolute disaster for Cincinnati. It's a dream, it's a gift, landing on the doorstep of the other AFC North teams. But yeah, Jake Browning getting the start. He is Mr. Pick City, he really is. But hey, if there was ever a case for paying for your O-line, then that was it, right? Because all those people in America that could have been, a big O-lineman, and the Bengals can't seem to find 5. So yeah, Joe Burrow, he's not looking good. And yeah, season hopes could be over.
If you are the Bengals, there are rumours circulating. They're actually knocking on the Packers' door here for Malik Willis. James Winston also in contentions there. Are they that desperate for a quarterback, or do you think they'll be okay?
And I wouldn't say it's desperate. I think it's a great idea. I think I really, really rate Malik Willis, to be fair. Jameis Winston, we know what he's about. Again, prone to a mistake, but he's exciting to watch. And I know Kirk Cousins has also been mentioned, so yeah, it's one to watch over in Cincinnati. To be fair, though, I think Kirk gives them half a chance of making the playoffs. Otherwise, they're crashing out, and like you said at the start, it could be all season. If they're out of the playoffs, there's no point bringing Joey B back at the end of the season.
I mean, we're recording this on Thursday, the 18th, but imagine if Kirk comes in and starts his first game as a Bengal against the Minnesota Vikings. That would be absolutely unreal headlines.
Well, that's poetry. That's the NFL script at its best. Well, speaking of the Vikings, I just say, don't worry for me. If you had Joe Burrow, surely you've got a backup quarterback in your fantasy. My backup was JJ McCarthy. He is fit and healthy, I'm sure. No, he's not. He's got a high ankle sprain. So I am without a quarterback at the moment. I had to deep dive into those waivers. It's not looking good. Yeah, if you're the Vikings fan, I would genuinely. Playing devil's advocate, I think they're the worst team in the NFC right now, which is saying something. But yeah, moving on to another quarterback who had dabbles in the NFC North. Justin Fields, he's out precautionary with a concussion. He's going to miss the game in Week 3. And then lastly, just talking about Jaden Daniels as well, a knee injury here, not practicing with the squad. He might go ahead and practice on Friday, but it's looking doubtful. Not a good time if you're a Commanders fan.
Oh, absolute disaster, isn't it? They must be gutted. They must be absolutely gutted. I mean, yeah, it sounds, touch wood, it sounds like he's only out for a little while. But yeah, these are the kind of games that, Raiders Week 3, there's talks of Ashton Genty getting a higher snap count and Pete Carroll looking to ramp him up. So, it's not what you need. If they're going to run the ball and score a lot, then, the pressure's going to be on the backup, which isn't looking great. But yeah, we'll see.
You can't really write it. I hate to keep banging on my fantasy drum, but in our league, yeah, I had Joe Burrow and JJ McCarthy. In my work league, I've got Jaden Daniels and Justin Fields. All 4 of those quarterbacks we've just mentioned, I've got across 2 teams. I am thoroughly in the mud right now. But looking ahead to then the Week 3 matchups, Thursday Night Football tonight. We've got the Dolphins at the Bills. One team 2-0, the other team 0-2. Surely it's got to be an easy dub for that Bills side.
Yeah, I think we've seen Josh Allen last week not be at his prime best, but man, the cook's in the kitchen every week at the minute. No one can stop James Cook. They paid him in the offseason and he really is shining. So I expect probably more of the same. If you're a Josh Allen owner like myself, you've got to hope that he's going to be throwing to his receiver, Keon Coleman and the likes. But yeah, I think it's going to be another James Cook show, and it's going to be a good time for you because, yeah, the cook is staying in the kitchen for now. He's top chef at the minute in the NFL, isn't he?
Yeah, and it all starts with his quarterback, I think, the guy handing off to him. You spoke about Allen briefly there, and unfortunately, yes, you do have him in your fantasy, unfortunately for everyone else in the league. But yeah, I'm just looking at the stats. There you go, coin that one. 14 games. 14 games. This is Josh Allen owning Miami, by the way. 14 games against the Miami Dolphins, 3.7 thousand yards, 37 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, which granted over 14 games isn't terrible. 108.8 rating. So he's averaging 267 yards and 2.5 touchdowns a game, if that's even a thing, but let's just call it 2 to be safe. It's just crazy. The guy is a don and he owns the AFC East. On the flip side of the ball as well, I did want to touch on Miami. I think if they're going to succeed tonight, it all comes down to Devon Achane. We've seen that they've had a really rocky start to the season, but Achane has had success against the Bills in the past, and he can certainly have a success again tonight. So far this season, 18 carries, 85 rushing yards, 11 receptions for 112 receiving yards, which tells you that whilst, those rushing yards aren't jumping off the page, actually he's entering the receiving game, and he's stepping up. Waddle potentially injured. Tyreek has still been hit and miss, although he was improved last week. But yeah, Devon Achane really stepping up, so leads the team in targets and receiving yards. But yeah, and against that defense, he might have some success.
I'm going to say I actually am going to be backing the Dolphins for this game. I think the Bills don't really have a lot to lose, and the Dolphins have everything to gain. And like you say, Achane going to be a catalyst in that side. No rushing touchdowns this season, but 2 receiving touchdowns. It seems to be a theme for other running backs in the league, where it's just a completely new way to play that position, where they're being opened up for these short routes.
Very
and
true.
Then they can catch it, completely throw the defensive line off guard, and then he's already through before you've got time to double take. And it's like, where's the ball gone? Because they've not handed it off, but Achane's still got it. So I'm backing the Dolphins for this. I think it's make or break. I say it, that's my catchphrase. That'd be on a t-shirt. But I think they've got it. I do.
Yeah, and listen, you might not be wrong. I think that the bookies are firmly backing the Bills, especially at home as well. That is one of the loudest stadiums to go in, and the Bills fans make you feel very unwelcome. But yeah, wanted to close that game off with talking about the all-time series record. Dolphins actually do lead it, Goody. So your team is winning that 62-60, and then they had a 1 tie at some point in or another. But in recent games, have been absolutely dominant from Buffalo. Under Sean McDermott, Bills are 15-2 versus Miami, and McDaniels is going to be under pressure. He's already on the hot seat. I think he's out after this game if it doesn't go to plan.
He's under pressure, like Tua's going to be under pressure by Joey Bosa when he knocks him into next week, the poor fella.
Brilliant.
Joey's on fire, and yeah, I think Tua's in trouble. As much as Mike McDaniel, funnily.
Yeah. Tua's not been looking good, and I think Tyreek might be washed as well. It all does come down to Devon Achane, but they need to get their ducks in order there, and it's not easy to go up against Josh Allen, especially in his MVP form coming off the back of last season. Another big game coming up this week. It's the Eagles at the Rams. It's a second straight playoff rematch for the Eagles. Last week, obviously, playing the Chiefs as a Super Bowl rematch. This one, a divisional playoff rematch where they beat the Rams in the playoffs 28-22. Who have you got for this one?
I think I've got the Eagles. However, and this is probably controversial because both teams are 2-0. I don't think either of them have been vintage. Both games, I mean, obviously the Rams actually came out relatively convincing against the Titans, but for a lot of the game it was close. The Eagles have come through 2 close games. Granted, one of them was the Chiefs and the other's a divisional match against the Cowboys, but I think both teams haven't quite got into their stride. The Rams looked a lot better last week with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, but I don't think either of them have looked amazing. There's Devontae over there. He's changed a little bit, I must say, but he's there. I think I'm backing the Eagles. However, don't be surprised to see one of the teams finally break that barrier and maybe dominate. I think both teams haven't looked amazing so far, and that showed how the bookies have kind of got the Packers as the NFC favourites over the Eagles suddenly. That probably gives you a bit of an idea how the Eagles haven't quite been top of their form.
They have looked good, though. The Eagles have looked good. Like against the Cowboys, they look pretty good, and the Chiefs are, unfortunately, the Chiefs this season. But yeah, I think you're right. It's probably right to be backing the Eagles.
It's funny, we're going to probably now spend the next couple of minutes talking about how Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, and there's clips of Saquon Barkley imprinted on my mind running through snow last year and waving to the Rams defense on his way past. So quite ironic, really. But he can't. He really can't. He just doesn't see whether he can throw. He doesn't seem to want to throw. Only 2 completions have two completions of 10 plus air yards so far.
Well, he's not thrown a passing touchdown this season. He's the only quarterback in the league not to have thrown a passing touchdown this season. That's completely wild.
And AJ Brown's an elite receiver. Elite.
I was having this conversation with Goody offline earlier, saying that he is probably the top 3 wide receiver. He just doesn't get the chance.
Yeah, you trying to shill him onto me for Justin Jefferson?
I thought there might be some trade sort of collateral there.
What I would say, to be fair and play devil's advocate, I'm the furthest thing from an Eagles fan. But to be fair to Jalen, he doesn't need to risk the turnovers. If he can throw it short or hand it off or do whatever he needs to do, does he need to throw it over 10 yards at the moment? No.
Don't be surprised if AJ Brown has a great game, though. Look, I'm just looking at the last time they met. 6 catches, 102. I'm looking at stats.
He's not
6
said
catches,
the word, though.
102 yards and a touchdown. So, hey, trade while you can. Buy low, Goody. Buy low.
Another LA team in our spotlight. The Chargers host the Broncos. Justin Herbert has been on heat this season, but questions forming as Lad McConkey misses practice this week.
Yeah, he has. Unfortunately, it's looking like biceps. Something to do with his biceps, of all things. Who knew? But unfortunately, he is a wide receiver and he does need to catch the ball. So I assume he needs them. Notably from that game for me, it's the fact that Pat Surtain is back. And that is just, that is second to none for that Broncos safe secondary and free safety position. It tells me one thing, that Herbert's probably going to have to be more precise than ever to Keenan Allen, to Quentin Johnston. But we could probably see, I think we're likely to see receptions end up on shorter routes to sort of get the under routes, the Disleys and using Amari and Hampton as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out, but he's definitely going to struggle to get the longer vertical routes down, I think, this week.
Yeah, I got the Chargers for that one as well. They look really good in Sao Paulo, and the Broncos are just a shadow of what they were last season. Do you think Cortland Sutton gets more than 6 yards this week?
I think it depends, doesn't it? I think Bo Nix is struggling a little bit so far this year. And you compare him to Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert has been a bit of a poster boy in his career, but Bo Nix outplayed him last year. But so far, it's the other way around again. So the sophomore slump is threatening. So we'll see.
Elsewhere on our Sunday slate, we've got the Bengals at the Vikings, 2 teams without their starting quarterbacks there. The Giants welcoming the Chiefs. Someone's has got to go in that game. Cowboys taking on the Bears. This game, I think it could either be like super explosive or just completely one-sided and a whitewash. It could go either way. And then the Cardinals visiting the 49ers for the NFC West matchup between 2 unbeaten sides this season.
That's a really cool matchup, in my opinion. I think, Matt, you're probably eagerly awaiting a chance to talk about this one. But I'll take 1 or 2 points here. I just think that both 2-0. The Rams may have lost by the time they play. They play the Eagles in the early slate, and then the Niners and the Cardinals are on at the 9:25 BST slot, or 3 p.m. in Eastern time, I imagine. But
what a world they've got it, by the way, to watch football in the middle of the day.
I know.
To get a full 8 hours sleep.
Well, listen, it'll be our turn too. We've got 5 weeks worth of 2 p.m. kickoffs and 3 p.m. kickoffs now, with slight differences. I keep forgetting we've got Madrid, which is crazy this year, so that'd be cool. But I'm interested in that game. I think it's more important for the Niners, because I think personally that the Cardinals will encounter a couple of losses here or there. I think it's really crucial that the Niners pick up that win, because they're going to need to stay in contention with the Rams for potentially a top 4 seed position in the playoffs, in the NFC playoffs. So, yeah, what have you got, Matt?
I couldn't agree more. I think, the general consensus is that the 49ers are probably stronger than the Cardinals over the season. It's games like this we need to win. It's games like this that we weren't really... Well, we went 1-1 with the Cardinals last year, which isn't good enough, really, to be the team that we want to be. There's talk of Brock Purdy being limited in practice this week. I think the consensus, again, is that you just rest him till he's 100%, give Big Mac another week, and hopefully there's enough there. I think the Cardinals have got a couple of injuries in the secondary as well, which will help him a little bit, but yeah, it's just injuries for us, so... We'll see. I think it's got the potential to be a really good game, actually, which is a shame because the Cardinals shouldn't be on our level, but here we are in 2025.
Any 1v1 positions in that matchup that you're interested in watching?
Not specifically, just because of the injuries on both sides of the ball. What I think is really interesting is it's come out this week, Kyler Murray saying, Marvin Harrison, if he gets 10 balls one game, 3 balls the other game, doesn't really matter. So probably doesn't fill the Marvin Harrison Jr. fantasy owners, myself, with a great deal of confidence. I think on the face of it, he's their top receiver, obviously with Trey McBride, by a mile. And if he's not getting in the ball, and obviously we've said that Kyler's probably not the best quarterback in the world previously on the pod, and he's just showing that again. He's just not good enough to take the Cardinals probably where they want to be, unfortunately.
That was my big 1v1. That's the reason I asked. I think Fred Warner versus McBride is going to be a really interesting watch. Obviously, he's also going to have to stop James Conner as the linebacker. He's going to have to try and prevent that run, which you are obviously good at.
Last year, they dominated with the run. That's the problem.
Oh, really?
Interesting. But we've got the run defense down a little bit more this year.
Cool.
Yeah, Fred's on fire so far. So
yeah.
The McBride, Warner, I get that.
I'm looking forward to that game. Should be fun.
Yeah, the 49ers getting a 2-for-1, buy one, get one free deal on Big Mac there, but no point risking Brock Purdy if he's not fully fit. Some big games then coming up in week 3, an even bigger game coming up on Monday Night Football to look forward to between the Lions and the Ravens. But before then, another episode of the Early Hours podcast to also look forward to, where we'll preview that game. So we'll see you then.